2016 Kia Soul EV. The 2016 Kia Soul EV is a flip phone in a smartphone age. Its comparatively limited functionality is justified only by its relatively low asking price. Function, of course, is relative. In the utility sense, Kia's electric hatchback is an electron-powered pack mule. But as a form of mobility, the Soul EV still has a functional deficit. Its 27 kWh battery pack is good for an EPA-rated driving range of just 93 miles, 2 miles better than the average we saw during our testing. That said, 93 miles on a single charge is enough for most Americans, considering that the average commuter here drives less than 30 miles each day, according to the U.S. Department of Transportation. However, in a market that's soon to welcome the $37,495 Chevrolet Bolt and its EPA-rated 238-mile range, the $36,800 Soul EV Plus is only months away from being woefully outclassed. Note that those prices do not factor in any possible federal, state, or municipal tax incentives. Even without the prospect of the Bolt, though, the Soul EV is an irrelevant electric car option for most Americans. That's because Kia limits sales of the model to just 10 U.S. states: California, Connecticut, Georgia, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, Oregon, Texas, and Washington. Odd as this may seem, such a sales strategy is nothing new in the world of electric vehicles, and a number of manufacturers take a similar approach. This is usually done to comply with individual state standards regarding the distribution of zero-emission vehicles, ZEVs. Unlike some of those other so-called compliance cars, the Kia Soul EV doesn't feel as if it has been converted to run on electricity merely for the sake of leaping through a regulatory hoop. Where some competitors, such as the Ford Focus Electric, sport giant space-eating humps in the cargo bay to accommodate a battery pack, the Soul EV's cargo area loses no utility compared with its gasoline-powered counterpart. As such, the Soul EV can happily swallow as much as 50 cubic feet of cargo with its 60-40 split rear bench folded down and 19 cubic feet with all seats in place. Like all Souls, the Soul EV also has storage space below its cargo floor. Outside, there are few differences between the EV and the standard Soul. Keen eyes will notice distinct headlights and taillights, a different set of 16-inch wheels, and an available two-tone exterior paint scheme. A revised front end incorporates a larger Tiger nose grille that folds out of the way to expose two charge ports, one for AC charging, the other for DC fast charging. The former port can fully charge a Soul EV in less than 5 hours on a 240-volt circuit but could take as long as 24 hours on a 120-volt outlet. Meanwhile, a 50-kilowatt DC connection can charge a Soul EV's depleted battery to 80% in less than 35 minutes. Electrifying the Soul doesn't come without consequences, though. The floor-mounted battery pack consumes a good chunk of the car's rear footwell. With more than 3 inches of rear legroom lost, the Soul EV's rear seats are less long-haul friendly than those in the standard car. On the plus side, the rear bench remains comfortable, while the Soul EV's limited range means the likelihood of settling into the rear seat for especially long periods is slim to none. Fortunately, front seat space is uncompromised. For the most part, the cabin mirrors that of the regular Soul, a vehicle we like a lot. Quality switchgear abounds, and our high-end EV Plus test car included luxuries such as heated and cooled leather front seats, a touchscreen navigation system, and a keyless entry system with push-button start. Differences between the EV and standard Soul interiors include a digitized gauge cluster. It shows electric vehicle-specific information such as remaining battery charge and power usage, white interior trim, an electric parking brake, center cup holders with a sliding cover, and driver-selectable modes for regenerative braking via the gearshift lever and a center console-mounted active eco button. 4 regenerative braking settings are available, with the most intense setting essentially rendering the brake pedal all but redundant. Ultimately, less reliance on the Soul EV's friction brakes may be for the best, as the electric hatchback required 186 feet of tarmac to come to a halt from 70 miles per hour minus 19 feet longer than the last gasoline-powered Soul we tested. thank our test car's low rolling resistance Nexen Blue EV tires as well as its 3,427-pound curb weight, 342 pounds greater than its fuel-sipping sibling. For 2016, Kia introduced the new, low-cost, California-only Soul EV. This model forgoes features such as a navigation system and a rear-view camera to bring the Soul EV's cost of entry down to $32,800, $2,000 below that of the EV trim that serves as the entry-level model in the other 9 states. On the other end of the spectrum, the top-of-the-line Soul EV Plus adds a new Sun and Fun package to its options list. As found on our test car, the $1,100 package includes LED interior lights, a massive panoramic sunroof, and lights around the audio system speakers. Floor mats added another $125 to our example's bottom line, bringing its as-tested price to $38,025, or $530 more than a base Chevrolet Bolt. Sure, a loaded Kia Soul EV Plus includes luxuries that the base Chevrolet Bolt simply won't offer, and, as mentioned, both vehicles are eligible for federal and state tax credits that can bring the actual cost of entry down significantly. Nevertheless, opting for the feature-laden Soul EV Plus over the similarly priced Bolt and its 145 miles of additional driving range is like choosing to go with a flip phone simply because it comes preloaded with the game Snake.
2017 GMC Acadia V6 FWD. The association between GMC and its highfalutin Denali sub-brand is stronger than ever, with every model in the lineup currently offering a leather-clad, chrome-heavy top trim level with a price tag to match. We tested a new, fully loaded GMC Acadia Denali that rang in at nearly $53,000, which is beyond the starting price of luxury brand crossovers such as the Volvo XC90 and the Audi Q7. While this surely is working out well for GMC profit margins, not everyone can afford to plunk down that kind of cash on an SUV or a truck. So let us present this significantly cheaper Acadia SLT, the next step down the pecking order from Denali, with front-wheel drive, far fewer options, and significantly less flashy trim inside and out. It's stickered at a far less ambitious $40,765. Less is more? For that price, you get the same 310 horsepower 3.6-liter V6 and 6-speed automatic transmission as the Denali. A 2.5-liter inline-4 is available in lower trims for those with even tighter budgets, but it can struggle to move the GMC's bulk, the Acadia SLT's second-row bench seat, as opposed to the Denali's no-cost option captain's chairs, increases seating capacity to 7. And, without a panoramic glass sunroof, all-wheel drive, and some of the fancier features, this SLT weighed 270 pounds less than the Denali we tested earlier. It didn't lose the exceptionally thick D-pillars that impede rearward visibility, but at least blind spot monitoring comes standard on the SLT. Despite the lower mass, the SLT can top the Denali's performance at the track, largely due to traction limitations, but it still turned in competitive performance numbers. The front wheels spun a bit at launch, but the Acadia SLT managed a 0 to 60 mph run of 6.2 seconds and finished the quarter mile in 15.0 seconds flat at 95 mph. That's only 0.1 second off the Denali's pace in both tests and competitive among other crossovers of its ilk, as are the SLT's 0.84 grams skid pad figure and 173-foot stop from 70 mph. People carrying duties. As a family hauler, the GMC is mostly up to snuff. Despite having significantly shrunken dimensions compared with its predecessor, the interior remains practical and configurable, if not quite as spacious as before. The sliding second-row seats allow you to apportion second and third-row legroom based on occupants' needs. However, even with those seats slid forward, the two-person third row is not a pleasant place to be. A low bottom cushion makes for an awkward seating position for adults, but that's about par for the course in this class. The larger Chevrolet Traverse, based on an extended version of the Acadia's platform, is a smarter bike for those who frequently shuttle around entire indoor soccer teams or large carpools. There's a notable degradation in cabin ambience between trim levels, where the Denali has real wood trim and piping for the seats. This more plebeian version makes do with lots of black plastic and drab-looking upholstery. Build quality isn't up to class leaders such as the Honda Pilot and the Mazda CX-9, as a few of the GMC's rough moldings and imperfect panel fits don't really pass muster in a $40,000 vehicle. The Acadia makes up for those shortcomings in terms of usability. The central touchscreen is simple and straightforward to use, something that can be said of the Hondas, and climate controls and the like are well laid out, being easy to find and to reach. Although not as swanky as the Acadia Denali, the one-step-down SLT ends up making far more sense. The Denali's luxury price raises expectations to the point where it fails to make an impression against crossovers that are decidedly more premium. Aiming a little lower, this cheaper version of the Acadia can't be called a standout, but it warrants consideration in a field where character matters less than utility and competitive content for the dollar.